case anybody else had one. But if you do, I'm sorry. You can sing a cappella.
We did announce the Grace Community Church open mic last night at
I know.
Gracie's.
I don't like that.
Thought there'd be a line out the door. We might have to do a line. Might have to put the rope line out soon. So I have a question. So I bought this Leonard Cohen album called Popular Problems. He's 75 years old. It's a brilliant album. I mean, just brilliant album.
Yeah.
And one of the lines in it, which I just saw where it comes from now, is the almond tree blossoms, the lemon tree withers. So I see where the almond tree blossoming comes from. Is there another reference about the lemon tree withering in the Bible anywhere?
There was that fig tree.
Yeah.
That one shriveled.
Fig tree.
I don't
I
know,
don't
that lemon
know
tree.
what that reference is.
Okay.
Can I say something in here?
Listen to a song of his recently. I'm sure you're familiar with it. The Anthem song.
Anthem is a beautiful
It's
song.
an amazing song.
There's a light. That's how the light. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in.
Yeah.
Gets in. That's how the light gets in. There's a crack in everything. Beautiful song.
It is an amazing song.
This may be, besides that album that's on, this may be his best album. It's 75 years old. All new music. Incredible.
Yeah, the lyrics to that Anthem song are just very spiritual.
And he's Jew.
God bless you folks.
God bless you.
I got a haircut for 15 minutes. God bless all of you.
You
Thanks,
too.
Reynolds.
You too, Reynolds. Have a good day, Reynolds.
I have 2 bags of stuff for you on Friday, ma'am.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I love you all.
Wants to pay for the month. So.
You know, I always try to. I've had a hard time getting into a lot of Christian music, and I want to because some of the little bit that I like, and in fact, Larry, the songs that you performed at Gracie's are 2 of the best songs that really moved me. You know what I mean? The songs that you really moved me. And it's hard for me to find Christian music that I like. And the spiritual music that I listen to is Leonard Cohen, who really moves me. And he was born Jewish and spent 10 years in a Buddhist monastery. But his Christianity comes through in his music. There's no way around it. And then Cat Stevens, who sings, now every song is about God. Of course, he's a Muslim, same God. You know, I'm trying to, but it's just amazing spiritual music. Anyway.
I mean, his first big song, Morning is Broken, was a very spiritual song. So I want to give you these 4 great spiritual truths. I may have given these before, but
We need to be refreshed.
they're great. They are. We should remember these. We should repeat them. But Muslims do not recognize Jews as God's chosen people. It's one thing to remember. Jews do not recognize Jesus as the Messiah. You know, we know that, but just Protestants do not recognize the Pope as the leader of the Christian world. Baptists do not recognize each other at the liquor store. We're pretty spiritual truths.
All these used to be self-evident. It's awesome. You're Googling stuff now.
Joke of the day. He's getting off of there.
If we had Wi-Fi here, I could do that. I had the lyrics to a Bob Dylan song here. Wait a second. On the wrong thing. And you know, here we go. Which we don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to get much into this. But, you know, you can't trust an atom. They make up everything.
Well, you should have stuck with
You
that
should
first
have
one.
stuck with the first
I had to,
one.
that was pretty burning.
It was like a brain injection. Almost like a liquor store thing. I was a little slow on the atoms, and I was like, where's this going? Okay.
I read something one time that an atom is like almost completely made up of nothing, and then only an infinitesimally small part of the atom is actual matter. So it's nice to think about that, because if somebody gets on your nerves, you can just be like, well, they don't really exist. So
It don't matter.
And see, we're so smart now. See, everything I learned in school was a lie.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We did not discover America, obviously, according to the Discovery Channel, which I don't no longer watch unless it's got animals dying on it or something, like they're hunting something. I'm like, we didn't discover America, man. They drilled that in my head 1492 crap. They had a little song and a rhyme for it.
Relax, 100 years from now, we'll be telling a totally different story.
All these stupid planets I had to remember, no, they're not planets, they're stars.
You ever buy something and it comes
You know
up
what I mean?
1492, and it's perfect, you know? You Because I know that Columbus discovered the ocean blue.
That just,
Right, I know.
that just happens to be the pin number on my
That has to be
star.
true, it rhymes.
I know, they drilled that in your head, and now these little smart Google kids and stuff, I say something, they're like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, look, man, this is
Wrong,
like,
old
this
man.
is what I learned in school. This is what
If
I
you had
learned
to
in school.
operate a keyboard, you wouldn't be so stupid.
I asked the kid, I said, oh, they were like, I seen a kid at the library and they're all pounding away on these fancy calculators and stuff. And I said, what are you kids doing? It's like, we're doing our homework. It's doing your homework. Don't you have to show your work? Show your work? What the hell is that? Oh man, what is that? Show your work. Yeah, you have to like long, what is that? So I put a problem down on a piece of paper. This is a regular problem. I said,
Papyrus.
give me this, and you do the problem. So then they're like trying to figure it out in their head. It's like, I mean, you can use your hands, take your shoes off, count your toes, whatever you got to do, but now they're lost. So I was like, and they're like, oh, carry the two. They were amazed like it was a magic trick. No, that's math. That's what you're doing is pushing buttons. I said, if you push the wrong button, you get the wrong answer. You know what I mean? This is the way to check your work. This is how we use the calculator to check our work. Oh no, they'll never ever talk to me again. They'll run if they see me in the library and be like, there's that old guy that thinks he can do stuff. He's magic.
It's a different world.
Yeah, like
It is
now
a
they
different
allow. Not only are you allowed to use a calculator, they insist on it, and you better not forget your stinking calculator.
It's true.
That's crazy. That's why when you go to McDonald's and the cash register blinks or something, they can't give you change because they can't
That's
count.
right.
I don't know, sir. The machine didn't tell me what your change was. And I'm thinking, and 16 makes 50, and count it out. 35, 40, 10 is 50, 5 is 15, 5 more is 20. You know what I mean? Let's ride on our line. We've got 30 people standing back here.
All right, well, we have 10 minutes, and I'm going to try to start finishing up about 5 minutes early, and then just to see if there's any kind of, sometimes, you know, I share my thoughts, and sometimes I like to hear if there's any feedback. And so that would be in 5 minutes, but so what I'm going to do is just maybe give some.
You could. I would like to hear a Love Your Life workshop. You could go like 5 or 10 minutes over. Is it?
Well,
no?
you know, I don't want to.
All right. It's up to you. It's up to you.
What do you got planned, Dave?
We paid for a workshop. So I don't know.
Well, I did the joke, right?
Yeah, got you covered.
You know, thinking about, thinking if I'm going to actually talk about this, I'm thinking about this idea of, you know, usually I try to do the workshop to give us something to practice, and I don't say that every week, but the idea is, what am I willing to practice? You know, and it's nice to have something to practice, and the word practice kind of goes along with that in my mind is I'm practicing. I don't have to be perfect, I'm practicing. So maybe I'm getting a little better, you know, and I think when I used to play soccer and I go out and practice, you know, it wasn't always the game, and sometimes your practice went good, sometimes you're kind of going through the motions, but you're practicing, and maybe you're getting better along the line. Sometimes you don't even notice you're getting better, but you practice. And so what am I willing to practice? And so and really what we're talking about practicing is practicing who we are. We live in a culture that focuses so much on happiness is out there. It's when I get to this certain point, when I get this done, when I get to Friday, you know. So think about how that makes people approach their jobs. Happiness is when I get to the weekend. Happiness is when I get so much money, or when I get to a certain position in my life, when I get to a certain age, and in terms of what we talk about, I might think, well, real joy and happiness is when I finally get myself to this place where I really start being the person I most want to be, the person I love. So what happens if we don't feel like we're there yet? You know? So I've been thinking about this idea of who we are rather than who we are becoming. You know? That it's really about who we are, not just who we're becoming. Who we are. Who I am today. And I like to think of it this way. This is just my little way that helps me. And I'm not knocking becoming, you know, but I'm talking about who I am today. Because if I'm constantly like, okay, I want to become this person. I want to become a patient person. I want to become whatever that I'm struggling with. I want to become a person who's more this way. Boy, it's just always out there. And I just wake up feeling bad because I haven't become that person. And I'm not sure that's all that Jesus was about. Was saying, you know, boy, you're in my family. Now I want you to work hard to become this. Or did he say, I love you anyway? I love you anyway. And so it's about who you are. Who I am today. It's about who you are today. And so how can I wake up and love who I am today? That's kind of where I'm at. How do I wake up and love who I am today? You know? And so I think about that. Being the person that I wake up loving who I am today. And there's a couple ways you could look at that. I say, well, then I gotta clean up my life and be really, really good and get everything done that I want to get done. So when I wake up, I'll love who I am today. Well, that could be a part of it, but that puts a lot of pressure on us. Once again, it's like, well, if I can perfect myself, then I'll wake up happy. So, and that's not really, you know, the way I want to approach it. But I think about that this person who I want to be. I remember this whole thing, be the person you love. I was kicking this idea around with my brother, and I said, I have this line, and it was become the person you most want to be, or becoming the person that you love. And he said, what about be the person you love? And philosophically, that's a very different statement. And I realized in myself that I was striving to become. But can I be? Can I be the person I love? And it is a different mindset. It is a different way of approaching ourselves. And it immediately calls for us to show ourselves grace. Show ourselves grace. The only way to love who I am today is to be very forgiving. Very forgiving. Because, you know, it's like going out in the soccer field and practicing, and I'm going to make mistakes. But I can love that I'm there, that I'm a soccer player, I am here, I'm playing, I'm participating in this game. I'm a participant, you know. But you can always look around, there's people better, or making mistakes, I could have done this better and that, but I'm participating. I'm giving my all, you know. And so you love who you are. So in order to do that, and this is where I really want to get today, and I'll just throw this idea, is think about, I've talked about this in the past, I think, but call it the pause, or we might call it in like theater, the dramatic pause. When somebody is like speaking on stage, giving a soliloquy or whatever, and they're just speaking, and then suddenly they pause for effect. We're not always comfortable with that pause, but the pause, and so what I try to do now in my life is pause. Throughout the day or night, have a moment of pausing to think about, who is this person I am and I want to be? Who's this person I want to wake up as? And so I pause and consider. The psalmist said, when you're on your bed, search your heart and be silent. When you're on your bed, search your heart and be silent. Take this moment to pause and consider. You know, we're familiar with Thoreau, and Thoreau's pause was Walden. It was a long pause, but he went out and just took a pause from life to go out and to consider life, really, to consider life. And I love his line about why he went to the woods. He said so he could suck all the marrow out of life, so he could not get to the end of his life and feel like he had lived something other than life. And I think that's why we pause, and so not for perfection, not so that we attain all these goals and all, but so that we can daily live